So, hopefully you can hear me well. Hopefully you can hear Chris well. Um, Chris gonna be the guest tonight. He's going to be on the grill. Um, we're gonna review his tournament that he played like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he had a really good result. It's a 150 mystery bounty, and it's his third bullet. So yeah, please tell me in the chat, like if everyone's watching, can you hear me first? And now when Chris starts to introduce himself, can you hear him? So we can move on uh to the hardcore stuff in like 5 minutes. I'm gonna wait a bit more for people to gather and yeah, put some ads in Discord. Chris, you can introduce yourself. Yeah, again,
Good morning.
yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Coming to you from the West Coast, Canada. We are going to I'm going to get picked apart and brutally roasted with my terrible play for the 150 mystery. I ended up finishing quite well. And yeah, I'm going to let you give me just basically destroy my play and show me all the things I do wrong and maybe something I do right. So this should be quite fun.
Yeah, hopefully it's gonna be fun. I mean, I'm gonna like usually people tell me that I'm really negative and stuff, but yeah, I can see you're going to get all well. I mean, nothing to be ashamed of. And there is a very nice gift if you've played bad and like you feel bad about it. There is a really nice gift with Woody Harrelson. Have you seen that one? The meme when he is like wiping off tears with money. It's actually it's actually the best. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's from, I want to say it's from Zombieland.
Zombieland, exactly. Yeah. Emergence. Hello. Is it all well? Can you confirm that sounds all well? So we're gonna be here like 2 3 hours at least, and it's gonna be fun. I'm going to upload it on YouTube, so Chris, yeah, you can then see and like review what we're talking about. Uh, yeah. So yeah, if you want to read the chat, you need to open the stream on your like if you have like additional space on your
Yeah,
monitor.
yeah, no,
That
I have the stream open. I got the
okay,
stand,
cool, cool.
I got the window setting open so I can see stuff in real time, and then I have the stream open and muted on the other screen
Hmm.
so I can see chat so people can roast me in every language. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like a roast. It's like really fun when you're not on the like on the chopping board and you can be the what was the QWERTY hero. Well, like the guy told me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The QWERTY coach. Cool. I mean, I've been there a lot of times. Okay. Let me put some things in Discord and we're gonna start. I was ready, and I'm gonna gather the Bulgarian army of trollers. So good luck.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
It's very rare that I get insulted in multiple languages, so this is going to be a new one for me today.
I got busted on my last stream. Like I cursed, like I lost a hand speaking in English. Cursed at the guy in Bulgaria, and he asked me, "What did you say in your own language after the hands with sevens?" I mean, and if I want to keep the channel running, I would never need to say what I said there. Yeah. Okay. We're not trolls. Oh shit! It is. I mean, I see no kappa. Okay, Chris, let's go. So that's like your third entry. You're starting with 12 big blinds, which is like really extreme, but I mean, in this tournament, maybe makes sense. You should never do this in like progressive
Oh,
bounty tournament.
oh God, no, no. Like I literally was so tilted. I basically up to this point was just having a garbage session. I was losing with aces. I was losing with kings. I would
Okay.
flop. I'd get ace king flop would come 4, 5, 7, and like four people would be shoving in front of me. I'm just like, well, this
Yeah.
is kind of a fun tournament.
Yeah. I can tell. Would be fun. So yeah. What happened? So 6 8 we fold. Queen 8 we fold. Jack 6 is going to be an easy fold here. Queen 6 we fold, and we come to this hand, which I saw already. Um, you can see they're like, I'm gonna translate you. They are now roasting me. Finally, at this stream, someone with a good English. So, yeah, it's not gonna be only you. I mean, I love these guys. So you've shoved this hand Queen 3 off, which it's not a shove, but what if you said that you're on tilt, kind of makes more sense, but you should never do this thing. Reason
Oh
is
yeah,
when you
no,
were
no, no. This was
okay, okay,
this
wait, so
was I'm firing
okay.
off $150 and I don't care.
This one also is questionable. So he opened early position, so basically you have no fold equity here. So it's this one is also questionable. But if you have additional information, so here how people like if you want to analyze this hand, you should get when you don't have fold equity. Have you ever like do you know how like basically not detailed how math works in poker? Like the pot odds thing, the equity things. Do you know how math works?
So for pot odds, I may be wrong with the mathematics on this. Is you have to have roughly the same call percentage into your pot. So if you are sitting roughly, say, aces versus king queen, which is I think like what is it, 75-25?
No, aces versus king queen would be north of 80%, I think, for aces.
North of 80%. So it'd be like close to
Yeah,
like 80, 85 to
yeah, yeah,
15
yeah.
to 20%. So I would need 4-1. So for me to put my chips in, it would have to be roughly 40 big blinds in already.
No, no, no. It's the other. So for pot odds, basically now you can see that this software is calculating pot odds by himself. So we're getting 31% pot odds because you need to call two big blinds to be able to scoop the whole pot, which is going to be 6.4 big blinds. So basically, you
Okay.
divide what you need to call the amount um, divided by the whole pot, the total pot. So basically, this is a bit of a different situation because I guess you're not gonna have any calls here. You're just gonna either fold or shove, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with 10 big blinds. So in that situation, you would need to calculate the hands as the guy already went all in because he's never folding. So basically, you're gonna put all the chips here, and he's going to call you every time, whatever he will open because you have only 10 big blinds. So in that situation, we need to calculate different pot odds. So, like, imagine the situation that he open shoved on you. You need to call 10 big blinds to win, like 23 or something is going to be the total pot. So basically, that's going to make about 42% equity. And I would recommend if you want to go serious with poker and like the stakes that you're playing, that's that's gonna be the whole concept of the stream today. At the stakes you're playing, if you want to be like steady winner, or basically to have the chance to stand against these guys who most of them made the lab work and like they have a wide arsenal of weapons. you should need to prepare. Otherwise, I mean, it's not fun to lose. So basically, in this situation, we need to find a hand that's gonna win more than 40% of his opening range.
Okay.
So yeah, if you like, that's how do you do this? There are free like softwares that you can put a hand versus range, and you're gonna try like if you want to improve by yourself and practice, because it's like it's free to practice and it costs money when you're doing it by playing. Yeah, you're gonna need to like try different scenarios. For example, okay, king queen, that's like borderline here, we can go win, but let's calculate. Then you're gonna start with like different hands, like I don't know, queen jack or something, and you're gonna see if it has the equity that it needs. I'm gonna try to show you just in a brief example. So that's I'm gonna try to like lure you in my world a bit. Uh, uh, can you see the can you see the calculator? No,
No, I did not see a calculator.
you don't see it. Okay, I'm gonna write which in Discord something.
There we
Just a
go.
second. Can you see it?
I can see it on stream.
Ah, you can see it on stream. Okay, thank you. So imagine he's opening like threes, ace 10 off, I don't know, every suited ace, king 8 suited, queen 9 suited, jack 10, 10 8, 8 7, king jack. So like run, I don't know, standard early position open range. He had a big of a stack. So basically, if we need to have a hand that needs to win in 40% of the times, this software is like easy to use because I can put the hands here and we're gonna see which hands has how many percentage on the right hand side. And king queen off, it's basically a good one. King jack off is gonna be borderline. So you never should go king 10 off. You should never go like deuces freeze here. It's not gonna be a good shove. And like king 9. And basically that's how you learn. You try to simulate situations out of play and try to remember the patterns. Uh, you can do it for every hand. You can do it for every hand possible, but like it's it's better to get the idea going. So he had queen 10 suited, which is great for us, and yeah, we win. So we got the double stack here. 3/7's gonna fold. I've closed the calculator, so I'm gonna try not to use it that much, but I wanted to show you something. So king 9 suited, it's an open here, especially with the big blind, just 8 big blinds. So it's important to, when you're opening a hand or when you're choosing if you want to play or not, most important positions are the button and the big blind. These gonna be the players that's gonna like fight you the most, especially the big blind, because he only needs to call one big blind, he's gonna defend often. And right now, with big blinds, only 9 big blinds, I mean, he's not such a threat to your stack. And you have a good hand also. Like this hand can make like high straights, high flushes, decent top pair, and whatever. So this is going to be an open. If you have some questions and if you like need to like interrupt me, don't hesitate.
Okay,
Go.
yeah, no.
Okay. King
So in that
7.
first
Yeah.
position,
Yeah.
yeah, in that first position with the king 9 hand, basically the range would just basically be, because like you said, I'm concerned about button and I'm concerned about the big blind in terms of
Mm-hmm.
terms of playback. The other four guys before and small blind should not be remotely of a concern unless obviously they like 3-bet 4-bet or 3-bet or shove something along that range. So, for example, King 9, King 10 suited, even not suited, would be okay to go into this section because basically, if I remember the saying correctly, I'm more concerned about the two guys with the 60 plus big blinds
Yeah.
sitting there in the two positions later on from me.
Mhm. I mean, depends how they play. We don't know the style because we can see only like code names here. But yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
So this situation is a bit. It's kind of unique because you have like totally different stack sizes. But I mean, when you have short stacks, like this guy has 20, 15, 8, they gonna go win most of the times when they gonna play against you. So here you should play more high cards. Like for example, if you all were 60 big blinds, you can open 7-6 suited right now because like it has like post flop playability. It can make straights. You can surprise people, and they gonna play pre-flop mostly by calling. And here UTG with king 9 suited, you have blockers for nines, you have blockers for kings, ace king, king queen, hands that are gonna shove against you. And yeah, in these situations from early positions with 20 big blinds, we're gonna skip the low hands like 7, 6, 8, 9 suited. I would just fold here. It's a beautiful hand, but it's gonna work less in this environment with short stacks that are gonna shove on you. Even even this guy with 57, I mean, basically he's playing 20 big blinds effective, so he's gonna also shove on you because behind him there is like only 8 and 16 big blinds. So in these kind of situations, you shift your range with higher cards, trying to keep the same percentage of opening as normal. So
Is
basically,
that
yeah,
why
king.
Steven asks for it? Sorry, is that why Steven asks for SVR when he's playing in hands? Because he's
Yeah,
looking at what is the lowest chip total in play plus
exactly.
what the pot is. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That makes more
especially
sense now. Okay.
yeah, especially post flop. I mean, by SPR, he's also understanding what would be the difference of his range, like of the opponent's range, because like it's different when people are defending when they have 100 big blinds, and it's different when they have like 20 big blinds, because they gonna shove more with 20, so their post flop range gonna be crippled, and yeah. And also about Steven, I'm like 100% sure that he needs to know the SPR to understand what kind of post flop sizing he's going to use.
Yeah, no, but like you remember, this is Steven's like the first blind guy that most of us have probably ever seen really play poker. So
Yeah,
what we internalize, he is externalizing. That's why I was curious to see why he was always asking for that, and that makes more sense why he's always
yeah,
asking
yeah,
for that because he's making his decision based off of. Because to me, when I look at the king nine hand, what I see is I see a 57 stack or 57 big blind. I see a 62 big blind. I'm
hmm
not seeing the 8 and 17 big blind. Those are the two stacks I should be more worried about. I'm not concerned about the 67 and the 57. So that's why that makes a little more sense to me now why he's asking for that information compared to other things.
yeah. Especially on final tables, he's asking always about the whole situation on the table, like every stack size, because he needs to know how many people is gonna just shove on him. And like in ICM, there's gonna be ICM considerations, and like which guy can bust out and whatever. So yeah, we have ace five on cutoff. It's a standard open sizing. I mean, it's whatever, but with 20 big blinds, I would go min raise every time. But I mean, it's not a big deal at this point. We have bigger
Yeah,
fish to
the
fry.
2.1 is basically my generic open size. It doesn't
Y-
matter if I have like 20 big blinds or if I have 200 big blinds. It's
it should
consistently
vary. No, it should
2.1.
vary. Yeah, it should
Okay.
vary because like when you have you've heard the term implied odds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when you're keeping the pot low, when they have big stacks, they gonna first they receive better pot odds. That's what we've already talked about, and then you're gonna like give them the opportunity for them to call speculative, spec like marginal hands,
Yeah.
and
No, no,
yeah,
I know the word you're aiming for. I know the word you're aiming for.
I know. So open king 10 off, that's like a good one because again we're always gonna call 7.4 blinds, 8 blinds, and yeah, I like the open here for sure. I'm gonna go down to, I mean, even queen 10 off, jack 10 off against certain players. But again, I'm just folding 7-6 suited here again, despite we're like two positions later than the previous spot. Aces on the big blinds, +1 opens. There is a call, and we don't have any choice but shoving. I'm gonna skip the hand because it doesn't matter what happens. Basically, like, especially if you're like watching. I think I've said that on the previous coaching session. If you're like results can put some pressure on you and they play games on you and make you tilt, it's better like skip the results, just get the correct
Oh,
play, say okay, I did it right, I don't care about results, I'm better than this. It's like stupid, but it kind of helps. There is an option,
no,
there is.
and
Yeah,
that's the big thing. What I'm asking about my hands when I put the hands in the hand review, you notice is I don't care that I lost. Like I care that I lost, but I'm also like, could I have played this differently
yeah.
to achieve a better outcome on my behalf, whether it be saving some chips, losing some chips, right? Instead of just straight up getting exploded out of a tournament. If I played it differently, could I have survived? Could I
Yeah,
have, saved 5 big blinds? Because we all know that, if you could save 5 big blinds, that's quite decent.
yeah, for sure. So we're from the big blind, facing raise from middle position with 4-5. That's a defendable hand. Without any information, I'm defending here 4-5. You flopped 9-5-3, and we have a backdoor flush draw with a 4. 9-5 of hearts. He bets big size, and it's like really big, that one. 75%. We have
Yeah,
4-5.
the sizing made no sense to me because the sizing says to me the way,
Mm-hmm.
if like I said, I can't see his name, but if I saw his name, I could remember better.
Mm-hmm.
He's played nothing up to this point.
Yeah.
So what he's saying to me is big pocket pair or big cards. That's all he's playing. So when he
Uh,
bets 4.24, like I could be completely wrong, of course, right? But with that sizing in that, he's like, I'm chasing you off a flush. I'm chasing you off of like, a pair of nines, a pair of fives. So I want
mhm.
to see another card.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tell you my perspective since I've watched simulations of this situation. His size makes a lot of sense because, like, imagine you have a hand like King Queen with one heart from the big blind. If he bets like 1.5 big blinds or 2 big blinds, you're gonna have two overcards with backdoor straight and backdoor flush, and that hand will comfortably continue on the sizing. Also, the way he plays, he's gonna discourage you from check raising as a bluff a lot. Because you can have a lot of hands like, I don't know, 7-6, I don't know, 8-6, 6 deuce, uh, I don't know, 4, like one type of heart, high card with a backdoor flush draw, and you're gonna like check raise. For example, if he bets here small size, if I have like king 7 with king of hearts, I would check raise sometimes. So with this sizing, he's
Okay.
achieving also, yeah, he's achieving kind of uh, not bad results against this kind of my plays if I was from the big blind. And also there is like another thing, that size, like we use the terminology, it's polarizing. He's now repping more overpair set, like super strong combo draw, like I don't know, ace deuce of hearts, stuff like this, 7 6 of hearts, 7 8 of hearts, or he has a hand like I don't know, queen 8 of spades, which gonna be really good if he bets big and you fold an ace right now. Does
Okay.
this make some sense?
Yeah. Like he's basically saying, I have something, I want you to go away. I think I'm understanding that way. So I don't
When
want you to continue unless you.
Yeah, kind of this, but like he should have enough bluffs here to be able to balance out the strong hands that he has, because he has a lot of overpairs that they needs to they need to get the money faster than like I don't know, a hand like sixes, for example. He should not bet sixes like this, but I've seen people do it also. So basically, in theory, most of the sizing that he should take on this flop are big. I don't know, with 38 effective and 5 in the middle, he should go like 75%, but I can see some people doing this. And now, real question from our side is this guy gonna be the crazy guy who's gonna use big sizing because of bluffing? Or is this guy gonna be the one who is scared of draws and he's gonna bet only value like this? And we it's really hard to judge, but like with 4-5, I'm not folding. We have second pair with a backdoor straight and a backdoor flush. So I'm gonna call once. And right now you should like be ready to have some, you've called, which is a correct play, but you should be ready to make some crazy plays on the turn. If I hand like, for example, if I hand like ace of hearts comes on the turn, that's gonna limit the number of flushes that he can have, because most of the flushes will be with ace high. Like all the hands like pairing the board with a 3 5 or a 9, you should lead the turn. And after his sizing, you should lead it big time, like big sizing sometimes. So basically, we don't call the flop here just to wait for another 5 or a 4 to come. We should be ready to oppose his aggressive strategy with aggression or on our own sometimes, if that makes sense. Ace of
Yeah.
yeah, and another thing, people are usually not betting ace king or ace queen like this, but I mean some of them. So basically, that card is kind of strange because I mean he has a lot of overpairs. I don't think he has that many aces, despite maybe ace 9, maybe ace 5, or these ace deuce ace 4 type of hands. But I doubt he's betting a7 like this. So it's kind of a not the worst card for us, although it might look that it's really good for his range. So he checks back. What this check back kind of talk to you? What are you thinking is gonna be his range when he checks back?
So when he checks back to me, he's telling me now that, because I don't actually remember if I win or lose this hand or if I bet this on the river or not.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when he checks that ace, he's saying to me that he either has a 5, he has a 9, or he has a flush draw.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he could have complete error, but I'm not at that stage in my poker life where I'm like, yes, he is betting with, 10 jack offsuit, 75% on
Yeah.
a flop just to check the ace because he might put me on the back door or something, right? He might put me on the ace of
Mm.
hearts, ace 3, ace 4, ace 6, a heart draw, or a 9, and he's concerned about something.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, basically how it felt to me as soon as he checked that ace was he has nothing on this board. So I'm more concerned about the queen than I am about
The ace.
the 5, 9, or
Yeah.
ace. So if he doesn't have a queen, I'm pretty sure I'm good unless he just happens to have sixes or sevens.
Mhm. And you led the river with block bet 3 blinds in 14 on a board which is yeah, queen came on the river, so the board is 9-5-3 ace queen. I can see a flaw in your logic, and you tell me if I'm correct or not. Okay, do you feel for most of the players which are opening early or middle position, playing against big blind when the turn comes an ace, do you think they like consider this card really good for them?
No, because for them to consider that to be a good card, they'd have to be consistently opening ace king, ace jack, ace queen,
Yeah, they
ace
do.
10.
They
And
do.
no, yeah, and but that's the thing though. When they are checking it to me, I'm not saying they're like giving up, but at the same time, for me to continue with 3.1, I'm like I think that's 15%.
I think it's like 20, but
15%.
doesn't.
Yeah.
No, you're giving 15% pot, also I think it's like 20%, but I'm not good at math. That, I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter
But
that
yeah,
much.
my logic is on the off chance that you do have something, I want to be like, yeah, hey, I hit a queen because I had the queen of hearts with something, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm trying to slow them down into seeing a cheap river. That's my
Mm.
idea behind the small
Betting
bet
the
on
river.
the blocker bet on the
Yeah,
river.
yeah. I'm like, okay, question. If you're in his shoes and you have like Jack 10 bet on the flop big because you need to chase some, I don't know, high cards away, and turns comes an ace, would you continue bluffing? Like considering that maybe ace is gonna scare the guy from 3x, 5x on the turn?
It would depend on hand history, but for me, I would not be coming along. I would not be opening in what would be third position with ace deuce, ace three, right? Like that's more
Ace
of
deuce, ace
my
3 suited? You,
yeah. Like if
are you?
that's more of my that's more of my button to small blind area, and maybe even
Mhm.
to the right of the button would be potentially that area. But for that earlier, like I have a lot more stronger, more connected hands than that.
Mhm. Um, from I'm trying to guide you to a line that I think people like from what I'm seeing from the population tendencies. People who has like jack high here and they see ace on the turn, they continue bluffing because it makes sense. I mean, five is gonna be really uncomfortable on the turn if he bets like 9 big blinds in 14, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had like five, would okay? Question: if he did bet on the turn 9 or 10 big blinds on this ace, would you continue with 4-5 or not?
No.
Okay, cool. That makes like I feel the same way. And no matter you had gut shot now, you're still gonna fall 4-5. So if he had like Jack 10 starting to bluff on the flop, he's going to achieve his goal on the turn, right? So basically, what I'm seeing here is usually people are considering an ace a really good card for them. Sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not. But they kind of most of the times they do fire off a lot of bluffs on the turn. And I'm really concerned when they check. Because in my eyes, that's gonna be a hand like 10-9, 9-8. A hand that it's like likes to go on showdown. It's not like really good because like he's gonna be concerned if he bets like 10-9 on the turn and you can shove maybe, I don't know, you're gonna have ace deuce ace 5, you're gonna have ace 4, and you're gonna have ace x of hearts also. So basically mediocre hand like a 9, or I don't know, jack tens. And with this sizing, I don't think he's folding anything if he played like this. So basically, if you're thinking, and the next thing about this hand, because it's like really important, I don't know how long we're gonna get, but concepts here are really important. What are you trying to achieve with that fourth pair bet on the river? What are your goals here?
What am I trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Is I think he missed his I'm 90% sure he missed his flush draw, and I don't think he could value jam, or I don't think he could bluff raise into me because he doesn't have a clue
Mm-hmm.
on what I have. Like, I could have, the weak ace, which I think I could call in this position. I could have the queen, right? Like, there's enough stuff I think I have where if he misses his flush draw, whether it be Jack 10, King Jack, 6, 7, right? Like, there's enough stuff where I put him on where I don't think he can call. So, on the off chance that he does have, say, ace queen,
Mm-hmm.
or ace 9, ace 5, or just a solitary ace, he can't come back at me and go, let's make it 25, or let's make it
Okay.
15, let's make it 20.
Mm-hmm. But what about this hand that I mentioned? Do you consider he can have like jacks or 9-8 right now?
9-8's possible,
Mm-hmm.
but the idea, like I said, when I first bet it, the idea behind the 3.1 is, hey, this is the first time I've bet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I have a queen.
Do
So,
you? Okay.
you know,
If you're repping a queen,
so I don't,
that's not many queens, because on this sizing that he had on the flop, the big one, you would be able to continue only with queen of hearts, like 2 hearts with a queen, and that's not many combinations. Like, there are not so many. And
yeah.
so basically what I'm trying to ask you, if when I'm gonna try to put a seed on you, that when you try to, like, when you're going to decide if you want to bet or not, to ask yourself a question: am I bluffing or am I value betting? Because if I understood you correctly, your bet sounds like more, I'm gonna bet small, so not to be faced against a really big size, and I'm gonna be in a tough position, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Which is never a good idea. Like, I would have like asking you the question: if you're certain 100% or like 90%, okay, 90 is a really huge poker number. Like, nothing wins 90% in poker. Like, if you're certain within you that you're 90% ahead and he has bluffs, you'd better check and like call whatever he bets. That's gonna be a lot better play, because right now, if you bet 3 big blinds, you're gonna not gonna get called by worse in your, like, in your perspective of the hand.
Okay.
And basically if he whiffed, he would need to bluff like the king high, the jack high, whatever. Think you thought about this hand, which I'm not agreeing with 100%. I'm totally on a different level here, like different type of lines should be more logical. And it was what I thought exactly. And he's not folding a 9 on your bet also. He has 8-9, of
Yeah.
course. So
Yeah,
here,
literally, that was like the only hand I don't think I ever put him on. The entire hand we were playing was an actual 9.
and he gonna have king 9, because it makes a lot of hands. He's gonna have king 9, jack 9, queen 9. He's gonna have maybe even tens played like this. If I was him, I don't know. I'm gonna consider sometimes a bet on the turn because people are not bluffing in your position when the ace comes. But again, his kicker is like really bad, so it makes a lot of sense. And try to like in the future, try to look over these spots and remember what we talked about. Like in cards that people are really uh good for them, they gonna check back hands that are mediocre, but they not gonna fold the river. So basically, if you're trying to turn your hand into a bluff, which I think if you bet you should do, should be only a bluff because I don't think we ever win by betting small. You should go like, I don't know, 150% or like 100% on the river, like pot plus. So you can say, I know you have a 9, but I have better. I'm not capped. I have ace 5. I can have ace 3. I can have also queen 5, queen 9, queen 3. I can have also ace deuce, ace 4. I know you don't have an ace because you checked. Let's fucking go. You show me the big balls. Call me with 9 right now if I bet on the river. And I'm trying not to put it in like GTO terms. I'm gonna try to use the. I was like having a blast in Vegas with the terminology, the gut. I can feel it in my gut. I was hearing this every day. So basically, you should need to show the bigger gut than his gut, and yeah, try to yeah. Dreamer,
Yeah, no, no, that makes a
it's a
lot of
one,
sense.
yeah, yeah, it's a 150 mystery bounty, but we're gonna go a lot in the early phase. We're gonna try to look so at some hands. 4-7 from the small blind. That hand's never a fault. I can see shoving against. What is the size if we want to fold him out of a 9? It should be like pot plus, but I don't think we need to do this because we have better bluffs to do it with. So I would just check and hopefully go to showdown on the previous hand. But if we bet, we should know that this needs to be a bluff, and we should use bigger sizing as we had value. Um, yeah, with like ace, the hands that I mentioned. With 7-4, there are people for about 20 effective that this could be a good jam. And I mean, I can 100% blame you, but I know people, if they saw you how you shove the queen deuce from the bottom for 9 big blinds, they not gonna fold a hand like Jack 9 suited right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, it's a asterisk play, but it cannot be bad. Next hand that we're gonna see is gonna be king queen from middle position open. That's a low jack open, and we have 24 big blinds button button 3 bets to 5.4 to 5.5. What is your thought process right now? Pre-flop. Do we need to
Can I
call,
see it?
fold?
Because obviously I call, right?
It depends on the player because it's like tough
No, no,
situation.
no. I mean, do I actually call or do I raise? Because this is
What
the
are you
same
going
guy.
to
This is the
achieve
same guy
as
that
a rate?
just had the,
Yeah, I know. It's the
this is the
same guy.
same. This is the same guy that just had the 9-8 hand.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm curious to see what I actually did. Because
You're
normally
curious to
I would
see.
just call. Like me
Yeah,
personally, I would just call in this situation, just simply because I want to see a flop with king queen.
yeah,
Whether he has, it doesn't matter if he has kings, queens, aces, jacks. If I'm playing this hand, I'm playing to see a flop.
yeah.
I'm
Correct.
not playing to try and get him in and have him potentially shove or over raise with a king jack king 10 situation, because I don't think he's doing that based off of the previous hand of the 9-8 of clubs.
Yeah, I mean, one hand is like nothing to be worried that you have already some kind of a really strong dynamics kind of thing. So I would play normally. And with this hand, if we shove right now, again, especially when you try to self-analyze questions, ask yourself, self-analyze hands, ask yourself questions. What are you achieving with a certain thing? Like, first you need to imagine what how his rage is looking like. um this guy will be possible this guy to have bluffs. So basically when you shove, he fold something. If he's not folding, like, no need to shove at all. The only good thing that we can fold out if we shove king queen right now is if he's three betting hands like ace nine off, ace seven off, and that's it. These type of bluffs. And if he has bluffs like queen jack, we actually wanna shove, and he's gonna fold queen jack off or something like this with blockers, and we're gonna make him fold dominated hand, which is not a good one. So in this situation, if I shove, it's gonna be hands like sometimes ace five, ace four suited, and hands like sixes, fives, and stuff like this. Because basically, when you shove, you would like to fold him off two overcards. And this hand is playing like really bad against his value range, which gonna be like queens, kings, jacks, whatever. We're fucked. But yeah, but we should consider calling if this guy is going to be able to have queen jack off, ace seven off, ace five suited, ace three suited, I don't know, queen seven suited, king seven suited, stuff like this. Without that information, if you're playing against totally like nitty guy, I would like flat out fold here. But in a 150, I'm never folding this one. So like people should know what they're doing. So we call. And yeah, that's stunt I saw also. So we call, we have about 90 behind, flop is 13.5. We are out of position, flop is 10, 8, 3, all hearts. We don't have a heart. Oh shit, I'm getting like Daniel vibes here. I learned through the years how to say the flops that we can get most of the information. He bets 3.5 and you shove, which is kind of a gambling here, basically. Because if you're getting called, you would have like, I don't know, maybe he can have like jacks and ace 10, you're gonna have 15-20%, but yeah, that
Yeah,
hand
because
is totally out of line, in my opinion.
oh yeah, yeah, no, but like this is the only problem with this viewing format is I wish I knew what his name was. I could bring up the notes I have on him because like
Mm-hmm.
basically through the top, like what I've seen from him, what I've seen from him previously, I'm going to guess I thought of something, no matter how insanely stupid it was.
Mm-hmm. The,
Where
the,
I'm like, okay, I don't think he has anything. I don't think he has, anything that could call here.
okay,
So I'm like, the only way this will work for me to win the hand, and that's probably not a good thing to admit to, is being like, for me to win the hand, I either have to fold
for sure.
or I have to shove.
Okay, but how
And
do you?
basically
Okay,
based off.
okay. How do you define that he has nothing? Like, what is your thought process behind the definition? I can shove profitably here. He's going to fold a lot of the times.
So it's one of those brain things where my brain is just like, I
Yeah,
think he has this. I could be obviously 95% wrong and just be getting lucky in these spots, which is
you
a
did.
possibility.
Yeah, you did.
But I'm just like, I look at it and I'm just like, my brain goes, hey, I don't think he has anything. So I'm going to sit there and go, I'm going to put the test to you, thinking,
Yeah. I know.
if you have something that could actually call here, I want
Hmm.
you can call, but I don't think you do. So I will take the 16, 17 big blinds and move on to the next hand.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, in the long term, that's gonna bring you in a lot of trouble because from like this conversation right now for 30, 40 minutes, I can see your brain is like focusing. It's a kind of a wishful thinking. like your brain is focusing on the things that are good for you most, which is, I mean, there are people that are negative. I am one of them. Like I can only most of the times I can see the bad things coming to me. Uh, most of the times, with the years, I've learned to like control this and try to um like be more objective and things. So that's when can reading range imaging range perception is coming to uh if it's going to happen to be helpful. So basically here I'm gonna say you some hands that he's never gonna fold. If he has an ace with a heart, he's never gonna fold. If he has like overpair, obviously he's not folding. If he has a top pair, he's not folding. So basically, what is he folding? Ace jack without hearts, and I don't know, hand like yours maybe. Ace king maybe without a heart if he's betting it, which is another question, which is, I mean, relevant. How are we sure that this guy is not gonna just check back ace king, which you can fold it out of? And the other thing, most of this hand that I'm telling you, you kind of block because you have a king or a queen in your hand that maybe is going to be your targets. So what me as a coach need to do now, but I'm not going to do it because you're going to take a lot of time and I want to go through more spots with you. I need to open again a calculator, present you the range, and there in every calculator there is the options to see how many combinations is one range and how many combination is another range. So basically, like roughly speaking, I think right now he's gonna fold maybe 20% of the times, and or I don't know, maybe even less. I don't know. That's my opinion about the hand. I'm not sure how this guy is playing, but focusing only on the things that you're gonna be successful on, without realizing that there are like a lot of dangerous situations for you. Like the previous hand, you told me I bet the five because I think he has nothing. That's what I'm feeling. And it turns out you got surprised there. I think that in that hand, that's gonna be almost the same situation. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, if I think if you have a heart here, it's a relevant play to do. Without a heart, you just fold, save your 18 big blinds, get to another hand. And I mean, he did fold, or obviously we would have looked at some other bullets maybe fired, but I don't think like analyzing this. I don't think it's it's a good hand. So Bota is asking if you would have do it in latter stages. You can answer whatever you think it was. I think you would. That's my opinion so far. That even in a
Uh,
yeah.
so basically, once I hit the money, my history for the last about like 3-4 weeks has basically been top 10 hands, or if I could see cheap flops. That's basically my hand history once I hit the money. So, for example, towards the end, I literally played a hand where I had king queen soft flop comes queen queen king, and I essentially checked it all the way down because I literally had no clue what to do. I
Mhm.
normally do not make it to the final 2 or 3 tables. I get the money and I basically sputter out about top 50 to top 150 is when I
Mhm.
normally sputter out. I either peek into the money or I get to the top 150.
Okay. Okay. No,
Lately, I've
like
been going a little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
lately I've been going a little bit deeper and going into like multiple 15-60 spots. And that's why
Okay. Okay.
I'm sort of here today with the 2 hours being like, hey, pick my play apart. See if we can
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
from it.
Well, I think the question was more like if you're going to the final stage, and I mean there are a lot of money involved at the end. would you be able to pull out the same? I can call it guts. You know what I mean? Cojones to do this the same way again. That was the question. I think.
Uh, yes and no sort of idea,
Yeah.
because in this situation, like, this is my this tournament would have been my third or fourth final table ever on
Okay.
this site. So
Yeah.
you can tell I don't really make it that deep in, but later on in the tournament, basically all my hands were just very simple, very, oh, here's an ace deuce offsuit, here's ace four offsuit, here's queen three offsuit, right? Like, it was just nothing really playable except for maybe like 10 to 15 hands in the final like 50 spots.
I'm sorry. Chris,
I'm dizzy.
okay. I'm gonna have to start.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So that's the thing, right? Like, once I actually would have more situational ability to get into a spot and go, yes, I've been here more than 5 times online. I could
Yeah.
actually answer that question.
I know. Okay, so next hand, there is a open from the hijack. You had about, what is this, 34, 3 big blinds. You have ace king off, and we 3-bet from 2.2 to 7.5, which I think is fine. Shoving is also kind of fine here because it's an offsuit combo. But yeah, that's a more standard play. 3-betting non-win. He calls, and flop comes 10-8-8 with 2 hearts. We have the king of with 2 spades. We have the king of spades. So, what do you think about this board? Do you bet here? Do you check? How do you think his range is
In
looking like?
first position action, I take a very more passive approach
Mm-hmm.
in terms of my action choices just by default. I want to basically give you the option and then I decide from there. That's how I
Okay.
normally play my early action spots, whether I have a bluff situation or anything. It's very rare I will take the lead unless I have something that I'm trying to kibosh the hand because it's going to get bad if the hand goes further.
Yeah, but the situation in this one is that you took the initiative pre-flop, so you're the pre-flop aggressor.
Yeah, no, sorry. I mean, on the flop.
Yeah,
So
but
now I would now I'm pretty sure I check.
no.
Oh, I bet 7.12.
Hmm.
Okay, so this would be. I have no idea what I did in this hand then.
Right. So basically, okay. The approach shouldn't be, I am out of position, I need to check. This could be the case, but it shouldn't be based on, I'm out of position, I should always check, or I'm in position, I was always bet. You should try to again. You will hear this basically on every hand, like trying to visualize how the ranges are going to do, and like that's a skill that needs to be developed for like good players still developing and should continue developing this ability to entirely visualize and imagine what is the range and how, as quickly as possible, how most of the hands would like to play in this situation. So basically what I'm saying, you would, with this sizing pre-flop, like the 7.2, the 7.2, you will have aces, kings, queens, jacks. These hands basically would like to bet here because, I mean, you need to get the money in. He still can call with like a 10. He can still call with king queen, ace queen, sorry, and stuff like this. So these hands would like to bet because they have value and they would like to get the money in somehow. Now, next question is, does he have often an 8 or no? And in these situations, the more shallow stack sizes are pre-flop, the less he's going to have an 8. Because if you have like, if you're sure that money is gonna go in quickly, you don't defend here 8-6 from hijack. against the 3-bet. You don't defend 8-9, 8-7, these low kind of hands that often. So basically, I think our range most probably will need to bet here because we should feel safe. He should jump pre-flop like, I don't know, queens, jacks, ace, king, and stuff like this. And he should have lower pocket pairs, which is, I mean, not great. But we have king of spades, ace, that's like outs. Also, we have backdoor straight, king, queen, and we have backdoor flush. So even if he has like hand like 10-9 right now, we would be able, like if we go win right now, we would be able to win in about 30% of the times. And considering he could have like weaker combos like king queen of hearts, king something of hearts, and he can just shove like ace 4 of spades right now. I don't know, whatever. I mean, sometimes if we stack off, we could be even ahead. So with the money involved in the middle, which are 17 and 25 behind, if we bet here, we're not gonna fold. We should not gonna fold. I don't like the sizing of the bet because if I have like aces, kings, I'm not worried about that much. And I would try to use a sizing that could basically lure him not folding a hand like sixes right now. Or I don't know, if I have kings, I would like him to continue with king queen of hearts, for example. So I would bet smaller on the flop, and be ready to stack off. I know it's not a like dream spot at all, but if we bet 3, there's gonna be 23 in the middle, and we're gonna have about 20. So that means we need to win about 30% of the times. He called, turn is a 6, and we have half pot right now. When he calls, it's kind of tough. Right now we're beating only flush draws. So if you check, we're hoping for him to check, and like we get a good run out for us, but you went all in. And again, it's gonna be hard to fold better than yours hand. I don't know if he's gonna fold 7s and 9s right now, which I mean, I guess is your only hope. Maybe you can fold him out of king queen, but again, that's gonna be a hand that we are beating, and we're not sure if he's calling, if he's going to bluff it in position. So it's a kind of a foggy hand, in my opinion. It could work against people who are afraid that you only are playing like these aces and kings, and they're gonna be able to fold a 10 here, but it's less likely. So I think we kind of got lucky. And if I want to go bluffing with ace king, I would be more tricky. So from the flop, I would go about 3 big blinds or even less, because if I have aces and bet 3 big blinds and this guy raised me with some kind of bullshit, that's gonna be like a really good achievement by myself, by me, I guess. So if I decide from the flop that I'm gonna turn this hand into a bluff, I would bet 3 big blinds on the flop. Pot will be 23. Then I'm gonna bet like 6, and I'm gonna go all win. So in that way, I would sell more the story. I have a hand that I don't care what you do, I'm always going to stack off here. And there is like I think people are gonna be more inclined to fold like semi-strong mediocre hand that it's a bluff catcher if you show that kind of strength, compared to just two bets and get the money in. Flasher, hello. So yeah, I don't for about that hand. I'm not sure this is going to be like the worst play ever. Maybe even could be a genius play if you made him fold a 10 right now. But the way you should think about the situation is more important. Like having a broad view on the spots in general, because like saying I'm gonna I'm gonna bet ace king because he's gonna have ace queen, can put you into trouble, so you're gonna get surprised quite often, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure I get what you mean.
Okay. Cross-country. So we have tens from. It's good we build the stack now, so we're gonna see a lot more possible play. So we have low jack tens opening with about 50 big blinds, and they fold. Nice. Big blind 4-8 off. Okay, we can play that one. Okay, queen 10 from the button with 50-40 effective. We open 2.1. Questionable if this guy shoves that we're gonna call or not. It's really questionable. I would fold queen 10 off if he shots for 12.5, but I mean, it could be wrong. Again, they all fold.
I haven't even said anything yet, Slasher.
I mean, Slasher, your alarm is kind of broken. Okay, 9-8 suited with 30 could be a fold. The reasons that I told you. But it's a like borderline open UTG, so I'm not gonna mind if you open 9-8 off, but it's whatever. Okay, that's king queen off, king jack off hand. It's a good three bet bluffing hand here. You don't need to do it every time, but sometimes it's gonna be good because he can fold a hand like ace 9 off, can fold a hand like king queen off. I think he should fold king queen off right now if you three bet here.
So use the standard use the standard sizing then, which would be roughly like 6 points.
Yeah, 5.8 to 6 with 30 effective is gonna be fine here. So positions are he's opening from what is this low jack, and we're from the hijack with 28 and king jack off. This like when you're watching me play. Okay, and I can. You know who Bob is, right? In the blind guy stream. Yeah, that's
I know Bob.
Okay. That's why I'm gonna call Bob and say I'm gonna three bet this in like 35 to 50% of the times when I have no additional information. Like if I play against a regular, that's gonna be my approach here. We're never gonna call, which is a correct thing that you did. Ace queen off open, they all fold. 7-9 we fold. 4-9, okay, that's not relevant. Okay, queen 9 off. Open from a big blind, we have 25 and 24, and big blinds about 22. And we have queen 9 off, and we did call. Which, like, if you get the standard ranges, that's not a call. Because it's like, again, you can use calculators to see how good this hand's gonna do in against opening range. And it's not gonna do very well because reason is you're dominated by a bunch of hands, and you also play out of position against the button, which is a important factor. And also the big blind is going to call in certain percentage of the times. I would guess about 60% of the time right now. And you're gonna play out of position three-way with an offsuit hand and mediocre. Like neither you're gonna be confident in your top pair when you flop it. Neither you're gonna be confident in a 9 if it's a top pair, because like they can have sets and over pairs. So yeah, this hand should be a fold pre-flop. Your flop queen 9, like a really good textbook stuff right here. You flop to pair, and we still don't feel good about the spot in general when there is a flush and straight possibilities right now. Flop comes.
If I remember this hand, keyword
Queen
if I
Jack
remember
9.
this hand.
Yeah.
I'm 90% sure. I was just like, I had my dad over my shoulder, and I even looked at him. My dad was like, "Oh, you flopped 2 pair. They shove." I'm like, Yeah, that's not really a good flop for me, even though I did flop there. I'm like,
Exactly.
that's a really bad flop for
Exactly.
me, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not fun right now, even though we have two pair. Just look at the flowers. Hello. Um, so we go check, check, check on the queen, jack, nine mono. We don't have, of course, because we cannot have anything here flush wise. So we check, and you checked again on the. Ah, no, you didn't check. I like the sizing. Turn is a seven of spades, different suit, and we bet small. So try to remember something in general. When you play multiplayer flops, you generally, in theory, should not use big sizes as initial action, especially on the flop. Flop sizing in multi-way flops is like almost always small, and it's easier to remember that way. A reason is because like human brain is really biased, and it depends on your tendencies. In my situation, I'm gonna be inclined more to bet big for value and don't gonna have enough bluffs, so I'm gonna tail out on my hand. And I think from what I've seen, in your case, gonna be the other way around. You're gonna over bluff and you're gonna like stumble to upon stronger hands, and you're gonna lose big pots. From what I'm seeing right now, I mean, could be wrong also.
Yeah. No.
So
You're not wrong,
yeah.
because for the most part, a lot of my uh action when I'm generally betting first into a pot sort of situation is depending on my mood, is between 20 and 50%. I'd
Mhm.
rarely go 60% or more before the turn or river. But being the first into a pot is generally for me about 36 to like 40-ish percent, depending on where the button ends up landing.
Mhm. So it's a fun stuff. We bet close to 1/3, a bit like 40% on the flop, and on the turn, and we got raised. And a really small size from 2.5 to 7. And we cannot fold, but I mean, feels kind of bad right now. I don't know. Maybe this guy's trying to um is trying to fold you off something because he's not gonna believe that you have a strong hand with that sizing, so we're not gonna fold. What is he raising right now that he checked the flop with? That's the really interesting spot. I'm not folding here. River comes, we call, and river comes a four of spades. I'm not folding here, but it's kind of he can have like straight flush right now, and yeah, straight flush, not flush. These are the hands that he should bet like for value, maybe sevens, but sevens is kind of thin because there are a lot of straights and flushes that you can have, and maybe queen seven, which again is really. I mean, I don't like raising with queen seven if I was the button. So the real question is, what kind of player is this one? Is it the one who, when he flops the absolute nuts, he's going to check because he doesn't see any way of getting called by worse? Or is it going to be, okay, I have a bigger gut slash dick than you, and I'm gonna raise you and bluff you off the hand here? It's a tough spot, but I'm not folding because, like, if he shoves, I'm not folding because, yeah, I think. Especially when he's betting, when he's playing against the small blind, when this kind of board texture comes queen jack nine, most of your calling ranges corresponds really hard with that like board. So you're gonna have a lot of top pair, two pair straight. um I mean, you, even if you have nothing, you're gonna have a king or a 10, and you can continue. So basically, no need
Yeah.
to slow play strong hands here, and that's why I'm calling river here jack nine, which is overplaying the hand.
Yeah, because
That's
like
like,
I once
yeah.
I hit the turn, and I ended up going to the river. I felt extremely confident that I was ahead, and he had like ace with the king of diamonds, or the ace, or the queen with the king of diamonds, or the queen with the ace of diamonds. So when he small raises that size, I could see it totally being that hand, and he's trying to get me off a draw slash he's trying to get me to come along with the solo diamond, right? Because he's saying, I have the ace of diamonds. I'm going to try and take your stack on the river. So when the diamond doesn't come and it's a 4, I actually feel extremely happy, and that's why I ended up calling that river, because I'm like, if you have the 10 king, and maybe the queen jack are the only real two hands, how that played out, how I was concerned with.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I don't really see sevens, but I was like, those are only two hands I'm really concerned with. I'm ahead of his king queen and his king ace simply because I hit the 9, and I'm pretty sure he had diamond. I was a lot happier to discover that, I had him basically dead from the word go.
Yeah. Right and wrong, because I can see people checking back not flushes here and like straight flush 10-8 king 10 of diamonds. So these are not the only hands that are that you're beating that are beating you, but I think if this guy is playing like this, they're gonna be enough. Like he gonna have queen 7 if he raises. Um, when he raises there. So Bota says this spot is overkill when we call river. Yeah, and he's correct. The thing is, um, if you bet the turn big size, like if you are tempted to bet like 60%, you should fold the river, in my opinion, because it's like less likely for him to put you on a weakish hand and value bet to pair here. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I
But
think it does.
when you use smaller sizing, the perception of your range is kind of weaker. Like, I don't know, just a queen, maybe king jack with king of diamonds or something, and he felt confident to raise to pair. Slasher asks why the amount of players affect back sizing, and my answer to this is because bet sizing depends on how often the opponent's going to fold. So how often you're gonna win the pot without any resistance. And the more players you have, the less probability of winning the spots directly on the flop is going to happen. So basically, when you're putting more money in the pot, you're gonna put a bad price on your bet, and it's not gonna work enough. And again, it's not easy to balance out to be like unpredictable with bigger sizing. In that hand, shouldn't a bigger bet size be better against certain players? But I guess in this situation was better because we induced a weaker hand to raise us. And in many spots, it's gonna be like this. And yeah, Bota has the same thing on his mind, that he can check back. All of his king queen bet the flop. It's not 100% sure, Bota, when he checked to pair, which most of the people are betting here. So we don't know how this guy thinks entirely, but I mean, it's not again the thing that I comment on your way of thinking, Chris, is that you kind of think one-sided about ranges of people, and I guess the better you come in poker, the more things you're gonna like have in mind during play, and it getting complicated. Usually when I'm coaching a guy for a first time and he's like willingly put his money into coaching, And when I like shoot left and right with some new stuff, they on the next lesson they tell me I felt like I didn't know what to do in 90% of the situations after I talked with you, which was the way I felt when I got my first coaching like 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm gonna implant a lot of inception seeds in your brain. And I mean, I told you in our personal chat that I'm gonna try to open the Pandora box, and it's on you then. I mean, sorry about that, but yeah, I think it's the correct way to do, and the more proper way, um, because otherwise your decision is gonna be a bit more like uh, what's gonna be a good impression, like not uneducated, but like with less based on facts than like perceptions and wishful thinking. And
Oh
there is
yeah,
a
no,
there yeah
I,
yeah there is a
I,
thing which is
I
really
think I know.
important.
I think I know what you mean. Like, it's just a
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
of I'm playing with knowledge of I know how it should be played in terms of what I see it as, not how it should actually be played.
exactly. And I think your play has like, okay, let's say for example that you have, I don't know, let's say it like this, it's an example. Let's say you have 100 IQ, poker IQ, and you're kind of not prepared theoretically. If I can judge like by these hands and the way you play, you're gonna be more successful. Uh, you're gonna be a lot more successful poker player in the long term compared to a guy with your exact skill set, but without your confidence. Because you're playing confidently. With all the statement that you said, you are 100% sure of what you're saying, and you're like believing in this in this statement, which is a good thing. Now, from this point on, you need to expand your poker knowledge so you can be sure about more things the way you're sure right now. That's gonna be like these gonna be my final words after the session, and I know it right now. That's how confident I feel because I've had people like you coached like this. And yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm gonna plant the seed of you need to go better, you need to make the lab work, you need to try to uh, expand your knowledge, and yeah, see how it's going to work, I guess, kind of thing. So next hand, small blind limbs, we have 22 big blinds, effective 21, and we check back 10-5 off. This hand is a good ISO bluff. In this situation, you can make it about 3 big blinds, and if he has like king deuce off, queen 7 off, I don't know, 3-4 suited, he's going to fold a lot of the times, which is not the end
So
of the world.
after this tournament, I was posting some hands on everyone's hand history review, and there's a lovely gentleman, I cannot remember his name. I want to say his name is Jason, who I had a discussion with, and he mentioned basically the blind on blind raise should mostly be going up to roughly 3.5. No
Yeah.
matter what, if you're going to raise, that's what you're going to raise with, and then that will just basically allow you to get the aggro spot slash basically just take the two big blinds away
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
decision making.
And it's 3 big blinds, not 2.
Oh
Which is
yeah,
really
right.
important. Which is really important. Yeah, that big blind makes a lot of difference. Yeah, so because he has 22 big blinds, I would go 3 big blinds raise. If he had like 30, I would go 3.5. That's
Okay, so
the
adjust the
that's
stack to
yeah, yeah,
within
yeah, yeah.
within
Yeah.
like the one big blind range. So
Yeah.
adjust it
I
from if you, lower end go down to 3, higher end go up to like 3.5.
exactly. And if you're like 80 plus, you go 4 big blinds.
Okay.
because and there is also when it's like under 16, I got 2.7 or something. So basically all the pre-flop sizing vary on the stack sizes, not on the positions, in my opinion. So that's what I calculate. And this hand is kind of a good to ISO if we have like the information that this guy is gonna shove and raise a lot of his strong hands, and he's gonna limp mediocre hands only, which would we don't have the way to know that. But yeah, if this hand fold him out of queen 7, you're gonna be a big winner right now. Check is also fine, but I'm gonna call Bob. I'm gonna ISO like 50% of the times. Okay, flop comes king,
Yeah, no, that was what I
and
was thinking about when Jason told me that. Was it sort
Jason,
of altered my play now? Instead of just
yeah,
seeing those cheap blind on blinds, I'm now putting in a lot more.
yeah. In theory, you should do
Two,
it
or
like
like 3 to 3.5.
yeah. In theory, you should do it with like 45% of your or hands. Yeah. Nothing go mode something. Okay. So Jason is Hagi McTavish, by the way.
Oh, okay, I think someone told me that before. I think.
Yeah. I've got to determine what to raise here. You Slasher, it's a polar raise. You should raise the hands that you're ready to call off a jam and crappy hands like this most of the times. So flop comes king 10-8. He checks, and what is your way of thinking right now?
Normally I would actually consider betting here, and it would
Yeah.
be like 1.2, 1.3, because like I said, I have that standard 36% bet.
Yeah.
So that's the button I generally use, and depending on how I personally feel in the hand, it could go up like one notch, it could go down one notch. And the
Mhm.
other thing that I've been learning from uh, Steven is the 15 to 20% bet as well. But obviously, you can't do 15 to 20% on a 3
Yeah.
point bet. But
Exactly.
so it's generally around the 36% is what I
Mhm.
probably would have bet. So it'd be like 1.3 is
Yeah.
what where I should be betting here.
You did bet one, which is perfectly fine. Now, question is how often we would like to bet here, and again, how do you think he's playing this range? So, from my experience, when you have 2 or 3 high cards, people are betting all of their bluffs on in this situation. Because against perception is when you check back, you don't have king queen, you don't have ace king, you don't have tens eights, king 10 suited, you don't have stuff like this. And you're gonna have a lot of I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
have 3-6, you have four
Exactly,
nine,
nine
you have
three. Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
have
yeah, yeah. Cool, exactly. So when they check, usually I'm a bit more on my toes because it's again hands that are either not good enough to bet, but they have like showdown value. So I can see a lot of 8x here in his range, ace x, and some queen x. So this, I don't think they're checking kings almost ever. Could be, but it's rarely because you don't gonna bet that often on this flop. It's hard to bluff with your 3-6. You should never bluff here a hand without any equity. Now, if you have bluffs, should be, I don't know, maybe really small baby flush draw or some kind of I don't know, queen 7, at least have 2 overcards on a 8 or a 10 kind of thing. So I would not bluff a lot, but I think against most players, you should seek about 2 streets of value here with 10 with 10-5. But be careful, I guess. If a queen comes, I would like abort mission. Queen, jack, 9, and a spade and an ace, of course. That's gonna be like really the worst cards for us. So we bet he calls, and that's like again, when you're in a spot similar like this, next time you just try to remember how often people folded here against one big blind. It's like it's gonna be like really low percentage. I don't know, less than 20% here. Someone just forgot to bet the flop, or it's a scary guy who is not playing like normal poker, I guess. So when you bet here, you should know that it's not gonna work on the flop almost never. So that's how you're gonna build your bluffing range also. So we call when we hit Jin on the turn with a 5. There was a flush draw on the flop. We bet 2, which basically I don't like. He checks, we bet 2 in 5, and I don't like that. Because we need to get all the money in with 10-5. I mean, that's the first hand I'm sure right now that we're winning from all the hands that we've discussed so far. And you should like to bet more. He still can
This
continue.
is where I actively this is where I 100% do royally suck at. Is even when I think I'm ahead, I don't think he has a hand if I go 4 big blinds. But again, I'm working with a half knowledge base compared to most people. And my knowledge base was just like, how do I get more chips out of them? Okay, let's go 2 big blinds instead of making it 4, because I don't think he calls 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but the problem in your play in general is going to be if you had like 9-7 here, or I don't know, Jack 7, yeah, maybe. I know that you wouldn't bet like 2 big blinds. Like I'm almost sure that if you are bluffing, you know that's not gonna work that often, and you're gonna use bigger sizing. So basically, if I need to put a note on your play, I'm gonna say he's bluffing with big sizes and he's betting for value with small sizes. Let's try to exploit it. Like overfolding against your small sizing and trying to bluff catch actively against your big sizes. So in the long term, you should try to balance that thing one way or another. Like it's kind of strange that you made that bet since there are so many draws on this board. And you're basically allowing him right now, if he has like, I don't know, ace, I don't know, maybe ace queen, ace jack, because in theory ace queen, ace jack off should be a limp. You now like basically allow them to continue sometimes, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but he's gonna have sometimes, I don't know, ace 5 with us with spades, I don't know, something like this. He's not gonna fold almost never to this size again, since my perception of he has mediocre hand on the flop is like almost completely true right now. He calls, and that's the other problem. When a hand like a card like queen on the river comes, which is the case right now, didn't get the flush, he's not gonna be able to call with an 8 anymore, because like almost all the bluffs got there, except maybe 9-7 and 9-6. So if he was willing to bluff catch you with an 8 right now, a hand like this gonna ruin the action for you, and you're gonna, I mean, you're not gonna be able to stack him off. And sometimes a hand like, I don't know, if you had like a king only, you can let him see his like queen 8 or jack 9 or whatever type of hand that he checked on the flop. I mean, again, I'm trying to relate not to our exact hand and more like the way you're gonna play a bunch of hands here. So you check, and you are now scared to bluff to bet to pair for value, which is a problem, because he can still call you with a 10 here, I think, against a small size. Yeah, we're not gonna use big size because basically 90% of our bluffs, if we had bluffs, 90% of our bluffs improved on the river with the queen. and it's going to be hard for him to put us on bluffs to call us with a weak hand. That's why you use only a small size on the river, but we still need to bet to pair. You're not gonna call or win. Don't get me wrong. If you bet like 4 big blinds and he shoves, we fold right now. That's how scared it got against most of players.
Yeah, no, because that's basically like when that queen came out, I was just basically like literally hands over. Like there's nothing I can continue with that I put him on, right?
Yeah, we
That
need
I could
to
sit there
call
and
him.
go, I am remotely comfortable with betting 3, 4 big blinds, 5 big blinds, and having him shove it in my face. Because
Yeah.
one of the things I semi learned when I was younger was if you don't know what to do, if you're facing a decision, don't put yourself into that decision choice. So if he shoves in my face, I only have one option to do, right? So it's like that's why I checked. Is if I don't know what to do, if he shoves, if he bets, then it's like, okay, if I'm not sure what to do, it's either check or fold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not correct because again,
Oh yeah,
you
no.
should. Yeah. Because like this situation right now, you should. There is a mathematical equation of how often you can value bet, and it's like really simple. If you bet and you get called by more than 50% of the hands and you win, you should bet every time. That's the
Okay.
math behind it. And the lab work right now is like analyzing this hand. Back in the day took me a lot of time because what am I doing here? Like what is the mechanics behind defining if we have value bet or not? We put all the hands that he's calling us with or raising us, because he can raise us with Jack 9 or I don't know, Queen 10 or something like this sometimes. And I was correct. He had 10-6, exactly what I was putting him from the flop on. An 8, weak 10, or an ace. Usually that's what people are checking when two big cards are like board is like two Broadways with a 8 or 7 or something. They gonna just check showdown value. Hence that they want to go cheap
Okay,
to
so
showdown with.
to go back to a question on the turn, when I bet 2, what should I actually bet then? Should I be closer to 5?
Yeah. You should be, because we have a lot of bluffs on the turn and we would like to bet a lot of the bluffs. The more bluffs that you have, you should use bigger sizing with your value also.
So
Because
is this more board dependent, or is this more along the lines of simply because of the situation how it is?
for every board, I mean, it's not only board dependent, it's board plus range dependent. Because it's gonna be really different if you're like he was opening from early and you're from the big blind. Right now, ranges are totally different. So it's basically it's board dependent, but you need to understand how board is interacting with both ranges. Which is if you do this, you're gonna be the best player in the world. But that's where the learning process should go in the long term. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Hey,
on the
Slash, I got a
turn,
question answered for you.
That's is the situation it was. I don't understand the question. I mean, if I think he was asking for the sizing pre-flop, and it depends on the stack sizes. And we said like starting from 4 big blinds, if we're 80 plus deep, down to 3.5, about 25 big blinds, we're gonna go 3 big blinds, and like micro stacks, we're gonna go 2.6 or something. So I would bet 5 on the river, and then if I bet 5 on the river, checking kind of makes more sense because it's gonna be really hard for him to call with a 10 or an 8 right now. But The problem is that we missed value either way. If you bet small, on the turn, you should bet again. If you bet big on the turn, you should check. But in both cases, you would get additional value out of the hand, which you missed. And it's funny, but these details in the long term makes huge difference. Especially when, like, if you're playing tournament poker, the most deciding phase of the tournament is when you are between 25 and 30 big blinds, and like it looks like microscopic right now. Okay, 3 big blinds, big deal, but considering your stack, that's like 10% of your stack size. And
Is that why DPO training is always around the 22 to 25 stack area?
No, there are also big sizes, but I guess that's why Steven is using a DTO for these kind of stack sizes, because it's more important than 100 big blinds. Because usually when the average stack is about 30, that means like 50% of the people are already gone and we are closer to the money, and the situation is more valuable than playing in the first hand of the tournament. So yeah, again, river I would bet fold here with a small size, but I think you should try for the future. You should try to see, like, when you're watching streams or whatever kind of sources of educations you have, you should try to watch about these tendencies and try to remember the patterns that people are using most of the times. And again, try, if you don't have any like experience with solvers and the way in theory spots are already calculated, you just try to copy the patterns of the better players. Like, yeah, I know you're gonna be surprised by how bad players are going to play, and that's where I'm always hearing you don't know how hard it is to play against unpredictable players, because I mean they're gonna surprise you that often. Trust me, it's like really tougher to play against a guy who kind of knows what you have. It's kind of impossible, in my opinion.
Like, that's the thing I noticed after playing for like the last month, playing at the various stakes, is I normally only play the 55, the 108, and the 150s. I occasionally will play the 215. But when I went up to the 320 was basically some of the most ABC poker I've ever seen.
No.
And those are the people that have the $500,000 caches. Like, I saw nothing that made me go, holy crud, this is like mind-blowing poker. It was just 101 button clicking. It was like, ace king, okay, we're going all in. Like, there was like no, like, there was no six fives being shown, right?
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, I would be careful with the ABC thing, because it's not ABC at 300 average. It's basically they look. Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, you're not gonna see the occasional 10-7 shuffle win 400 big blinds. That's correct.
Yeah.
But it's the other way around. I mean, these guys, they make like simple play looking like a simple play. They make it look easy, but it's actually not. Yeah. So I would be like aware that, and also maybe because you're a non there, they don't gonna have like sick approaches against you. But I'm promising you, if there are people who are watching your game, like if you show like 2 or 3 showdowns on a hands that we've discussed, they're gonna change the way they play against you as quickly as possible, or at least more quickly than people who are not aware of what are they doing, big time. And it's gonna be a lot more tougher for you. So this hand also I would like to comment against. 24 big blinds opening from first position, and you're on the small blind with 6-5 suited, and you did defend, which I don't think it's a good idea. Again, if you imagine his range, he's gonna have a lot of hands like aces, kings, queens, over pairs, of course, stronger aces. So basically, the problem is the problem here is that hand is one of these specu marginal hands that you would need to play when you have like 60, 50, 60 plus big blinds deep. And you could get flush or straight against his overpair. When you are short, you should stick more to higher hands. Yeah, we're almost like, it's not the end, but it's closer to the end that we're starting batch. So yeah, you missed a lot, but there's gonna be, okay, shameless plugin. There's gonna be, the whole video is gonna be on YouTube, so you can rewatch it there.
You can become Twitch famous and YouTube famous. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, basically here, I would always fold this hand because you don't get to win a lot, even if you get lucky here. So basically, we need to get to pair plus to win the hand most of the times out of position. And again, big blind gonna call sometimes again. And now you feel miserable with your 6-5 flush, but the same thing you can't fold right now on a king, queen, spades, and you have spade flush draw. You can be drawing that.
Yeah, this is something I actually have to actively work on. I think I personally see, now that I've actually talked to people who are a lot better than me, I think I actively see too much pre-flop from the small blind, where I need to actually go less small and maybe a little bit more big.
Yeah. I mean, you should limit your range from the small blind. That's plain and simple, because you're playing a lot of hands, and I don't think you realize how position affects your play here, because it's harder to value bet. I mean, if you, for example, if you catch here, you should start with a check. If you the guy who is in position is controlling the, usually, especially when you just called pre-flop and you're not the aggressor, he's controlling the tempo of the hand, and he kind of decides which route is going to be for that hand exactly. So interesting play by you on a king, queen, two spades. You decided to lead with 6-5 from the small blind. I don't hate it that much, but what is your reason behind this bet that you did 1/3 on the flop?
Outside of it just being my standard actual open, if I had anything, it's along the lines of, I am trying to prevent him going, let's make it 14.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to prevent him from jacking it, which I think if it goes to him, he's betting 6.
Why?
Right? If he has...
Why? Okay. Question. It's because it's like, it's not right. Just because you asked right, it's not right. If you're him, if in with what hand do you bet 6 blinds when you have only like 25 effective here? Imagine it's him, it's you from early position. They both checked. You're from early position, and you're deciding to bet 6 big blinds on king, queen against small blind and the big blind. What would be the hand that you're going to do it with?
I would be doing it with the jack 10. I would be doing it with ace queen. I would be doing it with like queen jack, because with the small and big blind coming along for the cheap rate, right? They just both called. I don't think they have a king. If if they have a king, what they're going to have is king 9, king 10, because I don't think anyone would be shoving, because this is, I'm pretty sure, getting later into the tournament. I could be wrong. So
Probably
we're
like
probably
16
past the.
big ones.
So it's just like the situation it was in. It's just like the only thing he's going to do is he's either going to shove it in my face, or he's just going to flat call.
He could fold also, right? I mean, what is he
Oh,
doing
and I'll
if
be
he
happy
has?
with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna be happy if I have.
No, you see what I mean, though, right? Like he's going to either shove it in my face, right, or he's going to call with his queen.
And what
Right?
about
Or
a
he's going to
king?
call with the draw.
And what about a king?
King, he's just going to call. He's going to come along with, right? Like
Exactly.
the only
And
hand,
that
the only hand I'm really like I'm not concerned with him jamming it in my face. If he
Hmm.
jams it in my face, I have to play basically for my stack, and I'm okay getting a card for 2.52 big blinds compared to 3, 4, or 5 big blinds. I think that is what I'm trying to achieve here. Is I'm trying to get the cheaper card instead of paying more.
I can see a lot of flaws in your logic. First, there is a terminology that we're using in this situation. In if you have ace queen, do you consider that a strong hand or a weak hand?
His position or mine.
If he was like the
If it's from
teacher,
him,
yeah,
I think he's very happy with ace queen.
exactly,
I think he's very content with ace queen.
exactly. And the problem with that sizing, if he has ace queen and wishes to bet 6, or like you would have done it. The problem is that you're gonna fold out all the worst hands. Like, okay, I'm telling you, if you're trying to play high stakes, you're gonna face a lot of like almost on a 300. You would play with the giraffe every day. I mean, with the top players. Like, if they see here a six big blind bet, I would fold queen 9 here. If I know that you're making it for value, I would fold a hand like Jack 10. I would fold, I don't know, Ace 10. I would gladly fold. So it doesn't make sense for you to do it with Ace Queen, because you're losing value, and I'm only calling you with a king, or I don't know, flush draw maybe. And basically, you're not making me do a mistake by betting big. You're making my decision a lot easier. And we had like all of the peoples you asked, including Zidix, which is one of the better Bulgarian players, like top 10, legit top 10 player in Bulgaria, the guy who made a comment in Discord. You're making their life easier, which is never a good thing in poker, because you need to be sneaky and weaselly and like really bad intentional in the long term. And again, if you have like queen, if you bet big, you're gonna isolate against a lot of hands like king. Just like imagine a hero here, which is Candy. You have quattros, or I don't know, fives, because you need to call them fives pre-flop. It's not 6-7. We're gonna call fives. You bet 6 with ace queen. I fold fives with a spade or without a spade. I think most of the times you're gonna see, so the way of thinking is he should play like small sizes here, because he would need to balance out some hands, and he would like to get some value with some hands. Otherwise, it's gonna really be hard to call against early position guy against 6 big blinds, because you're like slapping your dick on the table and it says, I'm betting 6, you know what is coming on the turn. We're going to go win. You decide what to call on the flop right now. That's like live poker, I don't know, slang, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. When you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
a
yeah.
certain bet, you know the other bet's coming.
Exactly. And again, you are making them their life easier. So I'm gonna go back. So I think on this board we could lead some hands, but the reason is going to be to target his folds on the flop. So if he has a hand like ace deuce of hearts, it's gonna be not that bad to fold him if we have a hand like 10-9, for example. We can bet a king sometimes because if he has like eights, if we bet like 1.5 or 2 big blinds, he's not gonna fold eights on the flop still, because you can do it with jack 9, we can do it with 10-9, you can do it with like, I don't know, ace 7 of clubs maybe. But there are not so many hands that are feel confident on the flop and you will need to bet. Like right now, if push comes to shove, you can all like almost stack exclusively with a king only. You're not gonna be comfortable to go win against early position with queen 10, right? Like playing for stacks here with queen
Yeah,
10.
no, me personally, no.
Exactly. Hopefully no one will, but yeah. So ace deuce ace 5, which Bota says is a good combo. Also, if you have a combo like 10-9 and I don't know, jack 9 suited sometimes, and maybe without spades also, because if I was personally playing, I would never use leading strategy right now. I would just check raise my king and some kind of draws. Hopefully, this guy is gonna bet a lot of the hands he would have bluffed, because like if you see lead from the small blind right now, it's like really alarming from the early position guy. There are like two type of people in this game. One of the types who will say, "Fuck, that's not a often leading range. He has value here because he's leading 3-way against early position, and I'm gonna play like scary until the end of the hand. I'm gonna just flat with a king. I'm gonna bluff catch with aces and whatever." And there is the other type of player. Okay, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm having king queen in my range. I'm having quad of kings, ace king, queens, and he's leading. He's representing my fucking range. Let's raise 10-9 right now. So you don't you need you need to see like you need to analyze which type of player this guy is, and then act accordingly. So I don't think it's going to terrible to bet 6-5, but I think overall reasoning and perception why you need to do this, it's like really wrong in your head. If I see a bet of 6 big blinds right here, I'm marking this guy as a recreational player, and yeah, I'm gonna try to find what are his tendencies and how I can exploit it. In your case, you're gonna over bluff with big size. So far we like came to an agreement that it's your way of playing. Which lower stakes, you're gonna crush them because people are like bending against aggression and breaking at some point. But in higher levels, I mean, people who made to higher levels and to the highest level, these are the like semi crazy kind of guys who needs a challenge, and you're gonna have hard times outplaying them because they just are better prepared theoretically against you. And other things, no one donk trips. Yeah, no one donk trips. And in theory, you should donk trips sometimes. But if I'm not like 100% sure how the theory is going to play, I would prefer checking my entire range, whatever I have on this flop, and just check raising like Jack 10 of spades, Ace 10 of spades, a king, and yeah, it's gonna be easier to play and most probably more effective. So you bet big blind calls, and as I told you, this guy knows that if he doesn't have a flush draw or a king, he's better move off this hand, like maybe aces or a queen. But again, so in this situation, 6-5 is gonna achieve sometimes to make him like eights to fold on 2 or 3 streets of aggression. But that should be the reason of betting, not because I'm scared that he's gonna bet six big blinds on the flop and I'm not gonna be able to see my first draw. That would never needs to happen, and it's not happening almost never. So yeah, and turn is a queen, and we are screwed. Yeah, big blind when he calls, he needs to have something because he needs to be aware that he has the early position guy is behind. So basically, he has king more than queen here, in my opinion. But even if he had a queen, now he has a full house. So we check. Checks. That means he has a queen. I don't know what it means, but he doesn't have like 10-9 for sure right now. And this is also a really bad way to play strong hands. Like, okay, queen is a fucked up turn, but if he had like some kind of a different full house, he's better bet on the turn than check and now betting 2 times the pot. We all know what he has, and you are going to follow everything, but I don't know, a king here. I don't know. I'm not calling here. Although maybe he had a queen, but I don't know. What is he doing? Why is he doing this like on the river? He should do it on the turn. Wow.
And that's why I ended up calling him on the river. Is because I was just like, the hand when I got to the river, he shoved. My brain immediately was like, that's not right.
Yeah, but he's gonna do it with
I
a
don't know
king
why
because
it's not right.
yeah,
Like,
but
I
he's
don't know
going
why
to
it's
do it.
not right, but
Okay,
I know it's not right.
But could be right if he had like king deuce and just checks the turn because you don't have anything to call him off, and you don't have to. He doesn't need to bet anymore and protect his hand. Like if the turn was different, he should bet a king because you can have flush draw or a queen or jack 10 or whatever, so he needs to kind of protect his king. But when this flop comes, he's not getting value out of anything. I would really fold the river because right now you're not winning almost anything. Like on the river you're risking 25 to win nothing but the 6 that you're chopping, and he can still have a king here. But you should.
Yeah. So
yeah.
in this tournament, because at this point I think we're like 6.5, 7 hours deep, right? A lot of the things I was seeing was I would see this hand because I played an ungodly amount of poker for someone that does this recreationally in the last like month.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people in the the 54 to the 150 range are shoving that spot, hoping for you to fold. Whether that's correct or not, I have no idea. But they're shoving in that spot on the river because they're like, I have the king. But it's like, no, you don't. Because if you had the king, you would have done more.
You would have bet the turn. You would have bet the turn. I mean,
they would have bet the turn. They would have bet the flop, right? Like they would have done a little bit more. Like at least in my brain, how it works out. Like when they shove that river, the only hand that I think he has, and again, and other people are going to be like, "You're insane thinking this way." The only hand basically off of like the month and a half before was he has aces or we're splitting,
No.
and I'm like,
So
no, I
that's
know that's,
where.
but that's how that hand played out in my brain, right?
Yeah,
Was
but
he has
now
aces or he
Hmm.
has nothing.
Okay, but deduction should destroy that logic big time here because he's from the big blind. He doesn't have aces ever, and also the bet on the flop by you made the whole dynamic of the hands differently. I mean, if you bet he's not raising a king ever because he needs to wait from the for the guy from early position to show if he has a king or not, especially if he has like king deuce king five, he could be again drawing that against or like almost drawing that against a guy who can have uh, like higher king, and also he can have queens, he can have yeah king queen also. So the thing is, in this situation, when you make a move that looks so strong, he's gonna trap a lot of kings here, and that's exactly why, because why you don't need to call that river. Also, you have the spades, which obviously he can bluff only jack 10 or spades here. Otherwise, he would not call the flop. If he has like 10-9, he's folding, right? If you bet two big blinds and he's from the big blind and he has an action behind, you're gonna fold a like plain and simple gut shot, right? So basically, in that situation, in my opinion, it comes out to this: you're blocking flush draws, which are his bluffs, and you're not sure how often he checks king on the turn, or at least I would have been. You are, but I'm not. So, I mean, it's kind of subjective, but in like if you ask a lot of players, yeah, that's a cool way to do it. Just ask players how would they play in their position. Like if they was on the big blind, would they check turn with a king? I don't know. I would have on this card because I would expect for you to have strong range, and you I would expect for you to make an aggressive move on the river. And yeah, I don't have value if I have a queen right now. So I'm not betting queen on the turn. And I don't think you're betting queen on the flop that often. So yeah. But it's like, yeah, different people. So I think you got lucky here. That's what my opinion. And the price is really bad because basically you just call to chop these 12 big blinds, and if you're not correct, you're losing 26 more. That's the problem with that hand, if it makes sense.
Yeah, no. I know what you mean. It was just like I said. I just looked at that hand and I'm like,
You
at worst, I think I'm chopping,
I
right?
don't think
So
it's
with that
worse. No.
information,
Yeah, I don't think
no,
it's worse
like
here.
I said,
Yeah.
this is why I'm here, right? Is my
Yeah.
brain goes at worst I'm chopping, so
Mhm.
you know what? At worst I'm chopping. There's nothing wrong with at worst chopping instead of
He can have a king and
the
you
alternative.
fucked up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Jack 9 could be an open. This guy again, 8.3 big blinds. Um Very long coaching hour. Worried if he if he has to pay overtime. No. We're gonna see some more hands because it's like it's not easy at some point to like receive information and be adequate about. And maybe I'm gonna start rumbling bullshit in a minute, but yeah, within a half an hour we're gonna like stop and we're gonna make some summaries out of the. Wow, that's interesting, by the way. I mean, that's like really interesting right now. Now, I'm gonna get back to the previous hand, but What happened? Did I miss something? Oh, I thought. Okay. So I was correct. In the previous hand, one position later, you did fold Jack 9 suited now. Right? You did. And on the next hand, you got dealt Jack 9 with one more player behind, and you open.
Okay. So this is one of those that's the average poker player is going to say you're absolutely mentally insane. In the GG
No.
universe,
Yeah.
no, this is just GG. I've noticed something, and this is one of those like conspiracy seed things in your brain. No, I know. For example, the flop. Can you show the flop to the Jack 9 hand, the previous one?
I don't know if there was a flop. No, there was a flop.
Okay. So I see a lot of stupid patterns, and again, this is just a crazy person speaking.
Yeah.
When you get back-to-back hands, back-to-back, or even like 2 of 3 hands, and you have the identical hand, generally speaking, if you miss the first one, the second one is going to flop quite nicely for you. Again,
really.
it's not logic. It's nothing like that. I don't do it live. I don't do it on other sites when I play. It is something I generally notice on GG. I will get back-to-back hands. It'll be doesn't matter what it is. Queen 7, 10, 5. Does not matter. It's insane. I know chat can openly just laugh at my face.
And
Watch the flop.
He is correct. Yeah, no, that's like, no, don't do it. Just
No. Like I said, like it's one of those things, right? Like it's not something I actively like search for and I know is a good play. But I'm like, when you consistently see the same thing happening, you know what I mean?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna try to like put the scientist glasses here, and I'm gonna say that's kind of mentally that's kind of mentally can pressure your brain big time. And also there is a lot more important theme in like seriously speaking right now. That's gonna be the thing that you would try to like looking for this kind of information compared to like trying to seek the logical and the yeah. By the way, my personal experience is when I went to play live, I see a lot more fucked up shit, which looks like a rigged thing compared to online poker, no matter the sites. So yeah, that's you open the big boys talk right now, and yeah, chat going crazy, of course. Yeah,
no, that's totally okay. I fully expect it, and I fully get ridiculed for it. Like, and that's 100% okay. But I just sit there, and it's always something I've noticed, and
I don't think you're correct.
Like,
I don't think you're.
Oh
correct.
no, I like I said, I could be 100% out of my tree on this one. But I'm just like, when you consistently see something, your brain is consistently seeing something, right? It's like you see an angel fly around your house for a week straight. Hey, angels might exist, or there's something scientifically wrong with you. Those are your two options.
That hand. I mean, when he shot 13 big blinds, it's not a call, but I guess you have I mean, we're gonna get banned if we discover the GG secret right now. I mean, shit, I need to.
There goes my YouTube fandom right there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't just. I mean, in a long term, seriously speaking, you should try to look, like, intentionally look for the way you improve your game based on math, not on like this thing, because the problem with this thing is that basically you're unloading part of the responsibility for you to do your own work by improving, compared to I have some kind of a hidden gem going on, which, I mean, yeah, or I don't know. It's a way to explain a basically totally false play with some kind of extraordinary. I mean, I don't know. Chinese government is gonna knock on my door now.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, 100%. It's insane, but it's a pattern recognition thing my brain picked up, and I'm just like, I know I'm gonna get barbecued if anyone ever sees it, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, just don't make that at work.
Okay. So next hand, what is this? Low jack opens 40 big blinds. We have 37 or something. Defend 10-9 off. Flop comes 6-9-6-5 with two hearts. We don't have any hearts. With 10-9, we just let the flop. This could be a thing. I mean, I would ask my questions like this, range wise. Is this guy opening 6-5? If it's yes, that means less likely for me to lead. Is this guy opening 8-7 suited? If it means yes, less likely for me to lead. I don't think he's opening 9-6 suited. So basically, what I'm going, what is the logic behind leading flops in this situation? If you expect for him to check a lot, you should lead with your strong hands and with your bluffs. So basically, you don't give him the free cards if he wants to check like ace 10, ace queen, king queen, and that kind of stuff. But if you think he's going to
No,
bet more, yeah,
and that's why I went with the lead bet here. Was a lot of the tournament I was noticing players were just
yeah, I would
playing
use a
like
bit
as we got later in
lower,
the tournament because this should be
yeah.
because this should be later, right? This is what is it, 40,000?
10, 10,
So it's
20,
like
10,
10,
20.
20,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're a little later on the tournament side, and I noticed a lot of players were a little more on the tighter side slash like not. If you like shoved in my face, yeah, I have no fold issues whatsoever. But with this board, I
No,
think
no,
I
no,
can
no,
just
no, no,
threaten taking
no.
it right now.
No, no, you should have a lot of worse folding top pair right now. If you're like with the intention to fold top pair, you'd better don't lead. But I mean, I don't think you're
No,
gonna
no,
get
no. I don't
raised
think he has
often.
top pair. No, I don't think he has top pair. I don't think he has over pair. I don't think he has top pair.
How do you know that?
The reason, it's just how the entire tournament's been played, right? Because
I
again,
mean,
at that time, that was the information I was going off of, right? Was a lot of people were playing eights, sevens, right? They were not playing king nine, queen nine, right? Because the only hand we've seen, right, if you go through, is the jack nine versus queen nine. A
yeah,
lot
but
of the
that,
people,
but
if you go through the actual hands,
mhm.
it was very much like all the cards being shown. There was no like I showed 7-8. I showed 6-5. Right? Not me. I'm saying them, the other seven
But you
people at
did,
the table.
yeah, yeah. But that's the problem of you playing tendencies and not the actual ranges, because he's kind of late position. He's gonna open queen nine. He's gonna open ace nine off. He's gonna open king nine off, maybe because the cutoff is only eight big. But okay, if I was him, I'm the biggest stack right now, and there is a guy with eight big blinds. I'm gonna open ace nine, jack nine, 9-8, 9-7 suited. I'm gonna open, so that makes a lot of sense with a nine. Also, of course, I'm gonna open aces, kings, queens, and if you're if you're acting first, you cannot exclude this from his range. The reason behind betting is because he can also have a lot of hands like queen 10, king, queen, king, jack, and these hands gonna check back and they have a lot of equity against your hand. And that's maybe a reason that you need to bet, but you cannot exclude the strong hands. and that's what makes this spot really tricky and like not easy to play in the long term like this. If the board was like 6-5-3, it's a lot better than you because he's not gonna open 9-6, 8-6 maybe. I mean 8-6 can open, but he's not gonna have like Jack 6, 9-6, 10-6, and Ace-6 open offsuit. So as lower the board and more connected, the better to lead. So that could be maybe a lead, but I wouldn't do it with 10-9 because this hand is again mediocre. You say you don't have the problem to fold it, but actually that means this hand is a good bluff catcher also. But the most important thing that you need to change your in your mind is like focusing only on a certain part of hands without having the logical reason to decline all the other ones that he can have. And it's easier for me because I've watched. I mean, that's the reason the base of every poker player should be learning the pre-flop ranges. And like if you learn the pre-flop ranges, that makes you gonna navigate easier, predicting what hands a guy can have from a certain positions in a certain situation. Like if he's opening like hijack right now, he can have 9-7. He can have ace-9 off. He can have jack-9 and queen-9 for sure. And usually it's easier to find out this this logic behind. Try to put yourself in his shoes and ask yourself what is going to be your opening range. I'm not seeing you folding 9-8 and ace-9 off, right? Yeah, if you're him first.
In this opening range, from his position,
yeah.
No, I would not be folding ace-9 or 9-8.
Exactly. So this is like if you. So my overall advice in the long term is to improve your pre-flop knowledge. Like you can find ranges these days. It's not that hard. You need to put the time to study, of course, but it's findable. I mean, it's information out there, and you can ask whatever. Like right now, we are discussing, and you can ask people, "What are you opening here?" or whatever. But if you try to improve like this, you're gonna have a lot better perception of what ranges are looking like. So that's the from 3 or 4 questionable hands that we had. That's the thing that strikes me the most, and I would suggest you try to improve as fast as possible. Just trying to see the whole picture, not the things that kind of your brain is focusing on, just one side. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I have in my notes.
Yeah. Okay.
My notes from you.
Yeah. So he folds, which is good, obviously, but yeah, I would. Well, if he calls flop, I would proceed with caution here. So let's do 1 or 2 more, and we're gonna wrap it up. You can coach Eugene about English accent. We'll be happy to delete this hard English.
And you're gone.
Yeah, it's gonna be good in 5 seconds. They're gonna see it. They're not gonna miss. If you missed what I said, I'm gonna.
Oh no, I heard everything, even when the stream was.
Yeah, but they I think they missed what we were talking the last 20 seconds. So I'm gonna repeat again. Button, refresh. Button opens from 17 big blinds. We have about 42, and big blind has 16. We have King Jack off from the small blind, and basically the best play here is shoving. And Chris gonna tell me what he learned the last weeks.
The last couple of weeks since this, I was discussing hands with people and stuff like that. We haven't seen that many boards to actually call it out. It's all been decision making and my insanity. There hasn't been much pre-board action, and he's actually been pretty good at calling out the boards. Positions, not so much, but boards, yeah, we're fine. This position, I actually learned this is actually more of a shove in the mystery / PKO world, especially when I have, 26 big blind. I have a big chip
No,
lead
you
on
have
the other people.
you have 42.
Yeah, no, but I have like that. Like I have a big enough lead against them that it's all about the pressure, and that is something I've actually learned in the last couple days, in the last couple weeks. Is this is actually shovable. King, queen, king, jack, ace, king, obviously all your, and put the pressure straight on them. I'm not sure about the bluffing ranges because I've never actually had that discussion, but for the most part, I discovered that this is shovable instead of limping along.
Okay. So calling here because he opened. Okay, I'm gonna try to explain in simple words why are we shoving. So there are several reasons. None of them are like really fist pump kind of thing. But I think with this hand, mathematics is gonna be on our side in the long term. So basically, because he's a later position, we expect for him to open a lot of hands. He's going to open a hand like ace deuce, maybe off. Hopefully he can fold it. He's gonna open a hand like, I don't know, jack 9 and whatever. So against a big portion of his range, we are ahead, right? I mean, we beat queen 10, jack 10, king 9, king 7 suited, king 5 suited, jack 7 suited because he can open from this position. He has only 2 players behind to fold, etc. But it's again the thing with the big blind. If we just call, big blind can call also, and it's gonna be funny. I'm not gonna pull out the math right now, but like if he comes in the along in the hand, there's like 25-30% less chance to win this hand, which is not insignificant. The other reason, of course, is when we get called, we have a decent hand. Like he's gonna call us with king 10 suited. I think he needs to call us. Sometimes we can even be ahead. He can call with jack 10 suited if he thinks like when you did with jack 9 suited, you called. I mean, reasoning was different, but yeah, again. And if he has like ace queen, we have 40% chance to win. If he has ace, we have like 45% chance to win. And the main reason of us shoving is that there is a decent amount of chips in the middle already. 4.5 big blinds. So we are risking 16. And the math says combined, we can win right now 4.5 if they all fold. But if we get called sometimes, we not gonna lose every time. So we have maybe about 40-45% chance to win the whole pot. And there is like a mathematical equation about this. And if the upside, like the sum of both plays mathematically in the long term is over 0, you should do it more often. If in this pot in general, we should have some traps here. If we have like aces or kings, you can just call from the small blind. Just because folding is going to happen often. But these kind of mediocre hands that you can, like, basically, if big blind folds a hand like 10-9 suited, you're gonna deny him from a lot of equity because king jack off against 10-9 suited is almost equal money. And when the stacks are short like this, it's harder to bluff also if you miss. And yeah, these are the reasons. Main reason is you deny them equity and you don't want to play out of position often against the button. So here we shove, and whatever happens. This is also like you can study from simulations in the long term. That's how you improve in these situations. So we raise weak calls and big blind shoves, and right now we need to win 40 for about 40% of the times. And if this is kind of on the latter stages, you should add a bit more percentage to the pot odds, so maybe 40 something percent of the times. I'm not folding here because our range looks like really weak right now. Usually in your shoes, I'm seeing hands like 10-9 suited, Queen 10, Jack 10, Queen Jack off, stuff like this. And he can shove a hand like, I don't know, Ace 5 right now. So I would have called. Yeah, you called and he has Jacks, which, I mean, it's unlucky, but even if against Jacks we have 30%, and that's like one of the worst cases here. If he has like Ace 10, we're going to have like 42 or 43, and we're going to be correct. And he's going to have also King 10 suited or Jack 10 suited sometimes trying to bluff. If it's on the bubble, though, I'm going to just shove and never think about folding. Because if it was on the bubble, this guy should know that he's going to get called really often and he's risking his life a lot by shoving. So he should do it only with strong hands. That's going to make the things different.
Yeah, because this is... Sorry, I'm just looking at the chip stacks. And I'm just
you should... Yeah, you can look up in the upper left
there
corner.
it is.
10, 20, I don't know what's...
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure this is actually in the money. So use trace and stuff like that or to play.
If it's in the money and this is the mystery bounty. Okay, if it's a mystery bounty and it's in the money, okay, let's pretend that's the case here. So this guy from the button is covering the big blind, right? Right. In my calculations, with my study group, we made a calculation that at this point, every player is adding to the pot about 12 to 13 big blinds right now. That's the value of you. So we made an Excel sheet and we made calculations, and we basically tried to convert the value of the chests that you can open to big blinds. And we came to the decision, and like based on math, that right after the bubble bursts and all the big bounties are in play, the big jackpots, he's adding about 13 big blinds right now. So in this case, if I was this player, I would almost never gonna open to big blinds. I'm just going to shove my strong hands. Like maybe I can open aces, kings, queens, these type of hands that I can call them both, but the semi-strong hands like ace 10 or whatever, I'm just going to open shove. Reason is, if this guy shoves 15 big blinds and right now he's adding another 13, you should never fold a hand like 8-6 suited right now.
Okay.
Which is kind of insane in the first look, but it is what it is. It's just a math. Because if he's adding about 13 big blinds, you should win that hand about 30% of the times, or 32 or something. That's what the math says. And basically, if you make the calculations with a like equilab or something like this, you should see that crazy hand's gonna have enough percentage of winning to call off here. And if big blind comes with something, it's just a bonus because he's gonna add another 13 big blinds in the pot, and you're not going to add additional chips from your stack. So basically, you can like shoot two rabbits with one stone. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And
because
it's
like
yeah,
when I learned that I was actually supposed to shove and not call shoves, I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
yeah. And if he's opening two big blinds, and I think he's not like aware of the situation right now, I would on my own shove a hand like 8-7 suited right now. Easy. I mean, I cannot make a mistake. 8-7's go. 8-7 has also about 27% or 25% against aces. So why do I need to give a fuck what's going to happen when I'm
Yeah.
almost 100% have the correct price to do it? Yeah. So it makes a big difference this hand how you should play it if it was a bounty or in the money or not a bounty. If it's a normal bounty, again, just the um, if it was a progressive PKO like we call them, the additional big blinds that bounty is adding, it's a lot. It's calculated differently. You should know how to calculate to determine how many big blinds he's adding. And again, if he's adding a lot, you should be super aggressive trying to chase for bounty. And that's another rabbit hole. I mean, it's when there are situations like this, it's like you're super easy to say, fuck it, I'm playing for bounties. You're going to make mistakes by overcalling. Or the other way around, like what you did right now. You didn't play aggressively enough in this situation at all. So yeah, we call and we win against jacks, which is a good bounty or a bounty. I mean, this thing is going for 7 years, sir. This fucking guy, exactly. Yeah, I love
You
him.
think after 7 years you would understand if it's bounty or about
No.
tea?
No, I'm streaming English in English only for about, I don't know, several months since May. But have no doubt he's gonna do if I messed up something in Bulgarian also. I mean, we are a small country, but we have so much different dialects in like the country is like 500 kilometers width. So yeah, basically it's from
Quick, we need to translate
almost
that for Slasher.
yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, I'm sorry. Slasher, open please the converts the what was the calculator of
310 miles for
conversions?
Slasher.
Yeah. About 350 miles. Yeah. So basically, from the eastern side of the country, sounds almost like Russian, kind of like Russian, like an accent, and the western is almost like Serbian. So yeah,
You guys are like the
uh,
same size as my province here in Canada.
I know, I know. I mean, and not the big provinces, right? It should be the
No,
smaller
like
ones.
I'll get the size of this just because we're apparently it's really off of topic right now.
I'm gonna put the slasher to the
944
test.
square kilometers.
We have 111 thousand square
Yeah, we're
kilometers.
944.
I mean, what was your top three in the world? I think
No, Canada, or in terms of actual size,
yeah, in the area, I think
I think
you're second.
Canada's second. I think.
Second. Yeah. I was wondering if you're bigger than China. You look bigger on the map, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you're bigger than China. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, largest countries by area is Canada and two.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up here. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of information to you to get. I would suggest just if you're going to battle these high stakes things, you should put a lot more work. because right now you're a new guy there, and they don't know exactly what your weaknesses are, but there are like a bunch of them right now, so they're gonna pick up sooner than later, and it's gonna be really tough for you.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully,
like so the notes.
hopefully
Yeah,
they're not gonna watch that stream that I told them exactly what to do against you.
don't worry, it's not like my name's not plastered everywhere because I use a different
Yeah, yeah,
GG
yeah,
name, so
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
can't see me. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
Basically, the takeaway I'm taking of the more notes that I wrote down was more balanced in betting terms. Stay low with bluffs. Stay low with my nut hands. Stay high with my nut hands. Stay high with my strong hands. Learn ranges. Get a poker calculator so I can actually learn ranges.
yeah. You
Play
should.
more from their range point of view
Yeah,
instead of just gut feeling it, and study the pre-flop ranges.
yeah. Try with study the preflop ranges first, because like if you have wrong preflop ranges, the math then like avalanching mistakes because of the misperception on the flop, preflop. Sorry. So yeah. I
Okay.
mean, the other one that I would suggest is like if you're planning to battle big time, maybe you should get coached, because it's the
Oh
fastest
yeah, no, no,
way.
no.
And
I'm not looking. Like I said, for the most part, I'm very happy at my 54 to 150 range, and occasionally going up to 215 and 320. I tried
yeah,
doing the 520, and I've never felt so outmatched at the poker table before.
yeah.
I've
By the
played with
way,
I've played with the Twitch professionals. I've played with all of them at some point, and it's insane. I never felt out of place, nothing like that. But you put me down at the 525 table, I just looked at everybody and was like, when you are the fish at the table, the game sucks.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to protect you out of. The problem, I'm gonna tell you a big secret. My coach is choosing which 500s to play. Let's put it that way. That's
Oh
my
yeah, no,
coach.
I'm not playing another 500 until I actually get coaching and stuff like that, because that
Yeah.
was the most demoralizing poker I've ever played, and it was not fun.
If you wanna get, if you want to, like, I don't know if money gives you a rush, which is never a good thing in poker. But if you want to play for higher stakes, just go play live. Cause like 500 live, it's like maybe $15 online, something like this. The level. I mean, many people is gonna be offended by that, but it is what it is, especially on your side of the pond. It's
Oh yeah, no,
mind-boggling.
like
Yeah.
I've played live. I played 1100. I've played 600. Like 1100 is basically the highest I've ever played,
Mhm.
and felt not remotely out of place playing live.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
you
I've
put me
seen
into the five.
much
You put me into
worse.
the 525 on GG, and it was the most dreadful experience
Yeah.
that I've
I
ever had in
think
my life. I'm not doing it again.
I think I've played only one $500 tournament on GG, and it was with 20 million guaranteed, which basically makes it unequal to a $50 tournament. Yeah. And on a weekday or on a Sunday, I mean, only the longest dicks are trying to put money there. Like actually the longest. Because I mean, it's getting really tough to see who is better than who on these stakes. And I've made some podcasts with high stakes players out of my country, and lots of by high stakes I mean the higher stakes with like bracelet winners and these kind
Yeah.
of guys. And they told me it's like really important how you're gonna approach the exact day. How do you gonna feel? Like how ready are you going to be to battle? How focused would have gonna be? Because they say like mostly we all know what the other are going to do in a certain situation, and we hardly are getting surprised at things. So yeah, basically, yeah, I would not recommend. I mean, my recommendations about the buy-ins that you need to play is like, please go play stakes that you're really comfortable to lose. Otherwise, it's gonna be first you're gonna feel bad because you're getting outplayed, and then this could hurt your pocket really quickly if you're gonna play high.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, and that's
yeah.
why I sit there, and that's why I play basically the 54 to 150 area.
Yeah.
Because if I lose at that, it doesn't really affect me. I'm just like, whatever. I made mistakes here. I got unlucky here. However it may go, and I'm okay with that. But when I went up to the I went to the 525. I was like, this is just. I would like my money back if possible. I do not belong at this table.
Yeah. Felt that many times. Okay, so gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna be back in 1 hour, by the way, but it's gonna be totally different. I'm gonna drive a 80s Formula Eastern Europe kind of bathtub with tires kind of car on sim racing. There's gonna be a sim racing stream in 1 hour. Thank you all for being here. I hope it was fun for you. It was an interesting one, and to say the least. And yeah, I'm gonna upload this on YouTube also, so you can see all the things we've spoke and like rerun some of the concepts. Thank you for yeah. You don't know, but Chris set an alarm for 7:30 to be on the stream because it's like too early there. Yeah, huge kudos for
West
this.
Coast Canada, man. You guys are not lucky when you guys have to start your poker day, your poker sessions at like 5 o'clock at night. I'm rolling out of bed, getting ready to start my poker game.
I know. I mean, at this point, I would like to be a Bulgarian who lives in like I don't know, in America for sure. Like having a normal schedule. My average go to bed time is about 5 a.m. here. So yeah,
I'm too
uh,
old for that.
you're not older than me. I'm gonna try to.
No, I know I'm not older than you, but I'm too old for that. 12 o'clock, my butt's ready to go to bed.
So yeah, it's doable, and I'm doing it. It's kind of doable. So yeah.
Okay, this was fun. Thank you, Twitch chat. Thank you to the few people that roasted me nicely and called me insane. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can do it again one someday when I win another competition or another prize, or I decide to actually pay for coaching. Whatever happens first.
Yeah. Find me 700 more followers, so we're gonna do it again. Okay, 600.
700 followers. Let's go. Okay, I now have a goal.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No worries. Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, gonna be back in 1 hour.